Welcome back to Man Crossing New Horizons. I'm Danny. As you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where you might be like, wait a minute, something felt wrong about my intro. Well, of course, because I accidentally hit A already and realised my microphone wasn't turned on in the first place, so you cannot hear me. But it's alright, we'll get straight into it. Here on a Sunday, casual Sunday, as they say. Have I done the Sunday crossword for today on dictionary.com, you might ask? I have indeed. It was hard. I'm not good at crosswords, it turns out. I've been doing them for a little while now, just for a little bit of fun. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, 6:29 PM on Sunday, August 29th, 2021. Another Sunday in August. Now think about it. KK Sada can't be performing today, can he? Because yesterday we had a bug off, so it probably got pushed today, which probably means it'll get pushed to Monday. I didn't actually think about that. Scenario that doesn't often happen. But yes, I didn't turn my microphone on. Happens quite a few times. But it doesn't really matter because I don't normally play for that long. What time does the fireworks show start? Because maybe we can just sort of chill and watch fireworks today. I don't know. We don't really have anything in particular that needs to be doing. And firework viewing is incredibly fun. Let's see what, see if we can talk to Red and see if he starts doing things. Not open yet. Okay, well then, never mind. Limited availability. Red raffle, we're not interested. Sorry to say that. Close some of these random tabs I got open. Wonder what am I been up to today? Yeah, I mean I did a daily cross. I'm doing a daily crosswords each and every day now because I can't remember when I brought it up, and maybe I haven't. Anyway, Northern Line was doing some crosswords on stream, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I always wanted to try and get a bit better at crosswords, and you know, I am better than I've started, than my starting ability. I'm not very good though, still. I'm not even sure if I talked about crosswords before. I feel like I talked about crosswords. Have I talked about cryptic crosswords before? I think it's something I've definitely talked about. I'm not quite at that level yet, but I am at the level of doing regular old crosswords. If you're wondering why I'm doing them, I'm doing on dictionary.com. I'm doing the regular difficulty. Well, actually, I start out on expert difficulty and do as much as I can until I can't do any more than I do regular difficulty. You're wondering, what's the difference? Well, in expert difficulty, they don't tell you something's wrong. In regular difficulty, they do. So that's what I've been doing. I've only done one crossword so far when it was all on expert, where I did the entire thing without it ever telling me if I got any wrong. But you might be like, that's not very good. Well, I've only been doing them like a week or two, just for a bit of fun, you know. Improve my lexicon, but really I think this sort of falls into a category where it doesn't actually improve like your vocabulary or that much of that sort of thing. The same way like brain training, problems don't make you smarter or anything, they just make you better at brain training. I think these crossword puzzles, again, I think that just make me better at crossword puzzles, if anything, which is not necessarily all that bad thing. It's a fun pastime, and maybe from this I can sort of transition a bit into cryptic crosswords, because back in uni there's some, I'm not going to call him a friend because we weren't that close, so just like a classmate I suppose. And he did a lot of cryptic crosswords. I remember watching him one time and I was like, oh, it's pretty entertaining to watch, because we only run in, but the story I told before, running I've had in with cryptic crosswords before was like one time I had to go to a hospital essentially, and the teacher of our company basically brought a cryptic crossword book, and that was my exposure to it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, not gonna lie. I was really awkward about it. That's what I remember. But yeah, maybe this is my time. It's my time to really get into cryptic crosswords. But first, you know, you kind of need that foundation of crosswords, and I will say, a big difficulty I'm finding, at least with these dictionary.com crosswords, is they're all USA based. So that often there'll be American related clues. Like one of them for today was like where you'd find Eugene, and I was like, what? Eugene? Who's Eugene? Do I know a famous Eugene? I don't. And then, you know, eventually fill stuff in, and then it turns out it was like Oregon or something. It's like I guess a big city in Oregon, and I'm like, I don't know that. The only city I know in Oregon is like Salem, and it's honestly a miracle I know that's the, you know, American cities, not, apart from the big ones, are not particularly well versed in them. Me particularly, you might be different, you know. I mean, if you're from America, I feel like there's a bit of an unfair advantage, but still. But you know, most of the time it's pretty good. Cause it's just anything which refers to like American-based context or knowledge is a lot more difficult, unsurprisingly, for me to answer. But most of that can sort of be remedied just by being better at crosswords in general, so that you can get the extraneous clues which lead into it, and then you can sort of guess it by feasible words which fit in there. The one which is actually just like my biggest shortcoming, I think, when it comes to crosswords especially, is things where it's like pop culture. It's like, oh, actor who appeared in whatever, or like oh, one of them was like the love interest of, was it love interest of person from Gone with the Wind, or something. Wait, is Gone with, no, Casablanca? Love Interest in Casablanca or something. And I was like, I have no clue. I've never seen it. And then any time they also asked for like an actor, and I was like, oh no, actress. Can't remember. Sorry about that little bit of a pause. Hold on. That's why I was doing McMahon missions. I was trying to see what missions I've even got. Rocks, seashells, water stuff, fish. Okay, let's do some fishing and seashells, I suppose, while we're here. Yeah, so my progress in learning how to do crosswords is a bit stifled at the moment. I'm pretty good when it comes to the pun parts, unsurprisingly. I do like my puns. But, you know, even then, it's quite hard to... Well, I suppose the difficult part of a crossword is summoning up the answers out of nowhere. You know, some of them you sort of get used to what you see. Like I'm trying to think of like a really common one. It's kind of hard to think of off the top of my head, to be honest. But they do like to use certain words a lot, like ers. Whenever there's something to like make a mistake or a mess up or something like that, and it's like 4 letters long, it's always ers. If it's 3 letters long, it's always ERR, that is. I don't know why I like it so much. I've got to assume it's because it's quite difficult to make a crossword and have like letters match up in interesting ways, both vertically and horizontally. So by the time that they get to the writing, like say 2 words horizontally, by the time they need to do a vertical one, it's like, oh, we need a 3-letter word with 2 R's in it. I was like, oh well, I guess the only thing could be ers. I suppose you probably need a lot of experience to probably write a crossword in the first place, otherwise it's kind of difficult, otherwise you won't be used to seeing sort of patterns. So it's unsurprising that some words come up a lot more commonly, because their, I suppose, arrangement of letters would be much more, I'm not going to say flexible, but perhaps much more commonly represented in the English language when you try and orientate words in both vertical and horizontal directions. But one thing I do like about crosswords is always how they got some sort of running theme among them. Some of them are quite good, like today's one's pretty good. It was called, spoilers if you do videodictionary.com, I suppose, crossword. Today's one was called, I can't remember what it's called, letter openers, something like that. And it was just like, I don't know what the theme is. Sometimes they give you like starred clues to be like, oh, this is where the theme will come into play. For someone that didn't. But what it was basically, it was taking words like, let me try and think of one of the words which appeared. It's going to be quite difficult to think of one off the top of my head. Okay, well, I can give you a hint for one, I suppose. Like, one of them would be like, oh, world... Hold on. World meeting goes off the rails or something. And you'd be like, what's that? And it turns out that word is unravel, because it's actually unravel. Or I guess that's kind of the opposite now I think about it. Alright, that's not a good example. This is something you just go to dictionary.com and you look, you've done it already. You can use the evidence that you have already. Oh, the best one was this one. Hold on. What was the clue for this one? It was a sneaky plan for skipping gym class, and it was in a question mark to show it was a pun. And then the answer was peruse, and I was like, peruse? Because at this point, this is one of the first ones I figured out, but not by the theming of crossword. I was like, peruse? What does this mean? How's perusing got anything to do with skipping a gym class? And then, like I did some other ones, and I was like, when I come back to it, I was like, PE ruse. That's what it is. It's a physical education ruse to skip out on gym class. Well, that's the whole thing. It's like the first 2 letters. So many of the clues of the first 2 letters are just like an acronym, and then the latter half is a word relating to the clue, but then you put the whole thing together and it makes a different word. I was like, very clever, very clever. Some of them aren't very good. There's one that, oh yeah, yesterday's one, actually, now I think about it, was actually, I'm not going to say it was bad, but it was incredibly difficult to work with, because it was basically like, there's 7 clues in a row or whatever, where you would miss off one letter, and you were either like the first letter of all the words or the last letter of all the words, and that itself spells another word, which was relating to a thematic clue. It was just like too many layers on top of each other for me as a beginner crosswordian. I don't know, it's probably a word for someone who does crossword classes, to really figure out what was going on, and there's a lot to mentally keep track of, and a lot of them that I remember that one, there's a lot of references to like actors and things like that, which were clues, and I was like, I don't know who these people are, so I can't fill in this thing, and I can't even guess what the word could be. So that's quite a difficult one, but you know, your mind is made very... Oh, hold on. What fish was that? I do. It's like I too quickly exit out of Nook Mile missions before I can properly see what's going on. Milky's online. Who knows what he's going to be up to? Probably playing some Super Smash. No one calls it Super Smash, just some Smash. But yeah, I mean, it's a sort of like a fun little pastime. It doesn't take me too long, you know. The fastest I've done one in was about 10 minutes. That was, no, 11 minutes. That was the one where I didn't need to use expert mode. I stayed in expert mode the entire time for because it was surprisingly easy. In fact, I finished it and I was like, what? That was too easy. But most of the time they take around 15 to 20 minutes. Depending on how quickly I decide to switch over to regular mode, I suppose. And it's cool because I remember I did Crosswords ages ago on Sporkle. Because I don't know, I guess I was just doing some Sporkle quiz and I saw one of his crosswords. I was like, huh, interesting, let's try it. And I clicked on it and it was basically like doing it in regular mode. You are sleeping, so I won't disturb you. It was basically like doing a crossword normally in regular mode, except for I was really bad in it. And I had to look up a lot of my answers because I didn't know what I was doing. To be fair, I'm sure that people who are making Sporkle crosswords aren't necessarily professionals, they're much more hobbyists. Or dictionary.com ones and I don't know, New York Times, etc, etc. Do it for a living or whatever. Maybe I should try a New York Times one, but then you need a subscription to them, not a magazine, to the actual newspaper for you to do them or something. I can't remember. You can like subscribe online and get them done. I feel like I looked into it once. Maybe I should just find some UK ones. Like maybe when I actually start going on and train much more commonly again, when perhaps this whole world situation is over at some point, and people are much more willing to leave newspapers on the train again, I'll pick them up and just like start doing them. Now that I can actually do them. That's crazy. So it's a whole world of opportunity out there. What am I doing, by the way? Why am I just running around? I forgot what my missions were. Hit rocks and seashells. That's what I want to do. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was trying to see who's the one who's crafting right now. Who have we not seen? I don't think we've seen Raymond. He might be crafting. Nope, apparently he's out and about. But let's pick up some more seashells. Because she sells seashells on by the seashore. Yeah, so that's sort of my crossword puzzle adventures, and I'd recommend you give it a shot if you wanna. And if you're better than me, if you've been doing crosswords for a while, do give me some tips. I'm all ears. I mean, my current methodology, which isn't great, is just basically I just cycle through all the clues and fill in the ones which I know I can do, and then I just basically iterate that. I'm basically like doing a for loop over and over again, being like, can I answer this clue? Can I answer this clue? Can I answer this clue? No, move on. But I found that's kind of slow. I think it's actually a little bit faster if you start doing, as soon as you find one, you start like working around it, being like, oh, which ones can I do off of this? Which ones can I do off of this? But yeah, I mean, it's hard to test, especially when you're on crossword every single time. And once I've done one, I'm like, ooh, you know, that was a bit of a rush. I want to try and do another one now. But alas, there are only so many daily crosswords. So perhaps it's I should look online and see if there's more UK ones that can be done, or any UK ones. I'm trying to think what UK, like maybe the Guardian's got some or something. I'm trying to think what sort of newspaper would have. I mean, most of them do, but which ones have them online? That's the question. Maybe BBC's got them. I don't know. BBC doesn't have a newspaper now. I think, or does it? I don't know. I've never seen them. Is everyone out and about? Is that what's going on here? No one's in the house. All right, no one's in the house. Okay, that makes it quite difficult to get. I mean, the only one who's in the house is Claude. It's quite difficult to get any sort of recipe for today. That's fine. It'll probably just be another like tulip surprise box or something. Peach surprise box, not tulip. Or maybe they're both things. I don't know. Played some Binding of Isaac. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm slowly going through and getting Mega Satan done with all the characters. Finishing off on ones which I didn't get them quite done through the first pass. Or like the non-tainted characters, the vanilla characters, which I hadn't done them all. So I did. What did I do? I did Lazarus today. Oh, maybe I only played one Binding of Isaac run today. No, I think I played another one, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, Azazel. I did Azazel. That's right. And I must say, playing the easier characters now, after basically playing like difficult characters for so long, is just like, it's like taking the weights off. It's like, oh, I've been trained in my minds of playing Tainted Lost, Lazarus, and Jacob, and now I was just like playing Lazarus. I was like, this is so easy. I played Eve yesterday, as I was like, this is a joke. This is a walk in the park. So yeah, I mean, eventually, once I get done with all Mega Satan, I'm gonna have to start getting done with all like I don't know what I'll do next, either Beast or Mother. And if you want to know what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to basically do it in reverse order. I'm trying to do it from the hardest things first to the easiest things. Mega Satan I don't think is the hardest, I think Delirium's the hardest, but Mega Satan gives you a chance at Delirium. If you want some Binding of Isaac inside knowledge. So yeah, I guess the next thing I'll do is Delirium, but Delirium, no, that shouldn't be the case. I should just do the other stuff first, because there's always a chance I find a Delirium portal, I suppose, randomly. And I can pivot everyone off into it at any point if it's strong enough. But it's going to be difficult if the last thing I have to do for so many characters will be Delirium. Luckily it's not too difficult because, you know, a lot of them I've done Delirium on now after just doing Mega Satan. Not all of them, mind you, but some. Yeah, I don't know. See, I kind of started on this crossword talk, so it's a bit difficult for me to sort of pivot off it where I can, but then I'd have to give it a weird title. But I talk about crosswords too much. Like, haven't I talked about it recently as well? Talked about cryptic crosswords, because at least I remember typing many YouTube descriptions about them. So maybe we should talk about something else. What else have I been up to? I've been watching Northern Line. It's old playthrough of Life is Strange 1, and you might be like, why are you doing that? Life is Strange. I was like, you know, I had itching for it, and I wanted something to put on the background while I was doing other stuff, playing some games of that sort of thing. And you know, Northern Line, still my favourite content creator, so that's who I was watching. And Life is Strange, I was like, I should watch this because I'm not sure if I'm going to yet. It's not determined. I haven't even drawn a thumbnail out for it, and it won't be released for a little while. But I'm planning on possibly playing Life is Strange True Colours, following on from Bugsnax as my story-based game, because I think that's something which is very story-heavy, very few mechanical things going on in it, and Bugsnax was quite mechanical. It just had a lot of charismatic charm to it, I suppose. So it'd be a nice thing to put in the story slot, and I was like, you know, why not actually play a mainstream game for once? And then maybe after that I could follow up with like Little Nightmares 2 or something. I don't know, it's all a bit up in the air. Who knows what I want to do. But yeah, I was like, maybe I should watch Life is Strange 1, just sort of like refresh myself on what it's sort of like. You know, maybe it can help me appreciate it a bit more. Am I going to watch Life is Strange 2 as well? Maybe, I don't know. Stick with Life is Strange 1 for now. And honestly, it's a charming game, I think. I don't think it's the best game in the world. I think what it does well is it's nice sort of interpersonal relationships, I suppose, between characters. It's always fun to see. Although sometimes the stories, I suppose, is a bit whack and some characters react in very confusing ways. But perhaps that's not really my place to discuss, because I'm not much of a story writer, or any sort of writer, I suppose, in the first place. But it makes you think, you know, what would you do if you were in Maxine's position? With the ability to time travel. At will. Reverse time. Correct mistakes and that sort of thing. I will say, like, if I was a teenager, like, if I got it around Maxine's, I don't know why I call it Maxine, Max's age, and I probably would do similar sort of things, you know? Just sort of mess around with it. You know what I'd absolutely do? Would be like, oh, you know, I'd just, like, correct social, conversational slip-ups, or, you know, try to act smarter than I am, or something like that. Like, answer a question in class, oh, I got it wrong, you know, rewind time, answer it correctly now. I'm a genius. And you might say that's a bit of a egotistical way to use it, and I suppose it is, kind of, but the best thing about that is I'm kind of learning at the same time, aren't I? It's like good and bad. Although I'm pretty sure when I eventually lose my powers, it's gonna build up some very people are gonna have high expectations of me, which is probably not exactly what you want. And plus, the most important thing is that you can rewind. Like, this is only short-term rewind, so it's like, what else are you gonna use it on, really? Apart from short-term mistakes, you can't use it on big-time, long-term rewinds. Well, spoilers, you can kind of retcon things, I suppose. I know time travel is always a very touchy thing to cover in media, I suppose. All that sort of concept of free will and causality, that sort of thing, that sort of questions it, you know, how deterministic is the universe. If you do something, you reverse it and the exact same thing happens over and over and over again. Without your direct intervention. It's not just like oh my word, please. Is this what life is? Do we have free will? Are we making these choices? Or has it already been pre-programmed into this timeline? And by time traveling, we're just zipping around into them and into different ones. weird to think about. And I'm not a time travel expert. I don't think anyone particularly is. If they are, then certainly not telling us, and probably for good reason. Time travel is far too strong a power and ability to really parade about it. But that's something I definitely do different from Max. Is I don't think I don't even know if I tell my best friends. I think I would tell literally no one. That's way too strong an ability, because if it ever even slightly gets out, if there's even a little inkling of it, you know, some sort of British Secret Service is going to definitely capture me and try and extract information from me or something. I'm going to be a scientific lab rat, which is not, I don't know, like, I mean, I guess that's not the worst thing in the world, but part of me is sort of just like, oh, you know, it might be fun to be participating in these science experiments. Oh, Vivian's in a house in these scientific experiments or whatever. They'd be like, oh, you know, it must be weird to think about if for someone who's like, sorry, I don't know how to phrase this, for someone who's like guaranteed to be able to rewind time, like a time traveler, that sort of thing, but you're in the timeline where they had to get the information first. So, oh, you're not crafting? Wait, is no one crafting? Weird. You should come with me, it'd be a load of fun. Yeah, I'd love to watch a movie with you, Vivian. No. Like, imagine you're like, oh, I'm trying to test you. No, someone's trying to test you, being like, oh, prove to me you actually have time travel powers. And I'll be like, okay, what do you want? What test? And they'll be like, what am I thinking about right now? And then obviously, if you're on that first situation of a timeline, you're the one with the time travel powers, you'll just be like, got no idea. I'm not a mind reader. I'm a time traveler. So you'll just be like, I don't know, bacon cheeseburgers. And they'll be like, ha, you're wrong. I was actually thinking about the Banach-Tarski paradox. Or whatever. And you'll be like, all right, whatever. And you rewind it, and they'll be like, what am I thinking about right now? And you'll be like, oh, the Banach-Tarski paradox. I'll be like, what? See, the second iteration of them, absolutely mind blown. The first iteration is just like, oh, this person doesn't actually have time travel powers, you know. And I suppose that kind of depends if really, like, when you time travel, it splinters out into different timelines. Oh, we already caught enough bugs. A bag one. Deep sea diving customization. Let's do customization. It's whether time traveling splinters a timeline, I suppose. So then you actually make like a first iteration and second iteration copy of these people or whatnot. And that first iteration just sort of goes on being like, oh, this person doesn't actually have time travel powers, you know. Kind of sucks for them. But don't know what they're missing out on. But that second iteration, where it's like, what? You blew my mind. You actually could read what I was thinking about. That's scary. There's like a good sketch, or a skit, I suppose. I don't really know what the difference between a skit and a sketch is in the concept of comedy. I know what a sketch is when you draw. I don't think skit is even a thing in drawings, but about time traveling, like this guy who's got a time traveling box and is trying to basically ask this woman out on a date or something, or struck up a conversation. It's along that sort of lines. Was like, oh, every time you press a button, it actually ends your life, shall we say, in this timeline, and creates a copy or a timeline in which you continue on with your existence while your previous self is deceased in that first timeline, which is a grand reveal. Like what if that's what happened in Life is Strange? It's such, well, I'm not gonna say it's a light-hearted game, but it's an interesting game, a dramatic game, I suppose, with light-hearted elements. And to be like, oh, every time Maxine's, why do I keep calling her Maxine? Every time Max has been reversing time, she's just been like, you know, ending that timeline for herself, and just dropping, shall we say, kicking a bucket, shall we say, and every single timeline's just like in front of Chloe every time. That must be terrifying, to say the least. But still, Life is Strange, I don't know. I suppose it's a little divergence into Life is Strange. I feel like the first one is definitely the best thus far. I mean, there's only two. I wonder if, and that's partly is because I think time travel is such a good, like, superpower to be able to have. It's such a nice fit for like the subversion of it in like this visual novel, I suppose, style of gameplay. Very story-driven games. It's like a perfect thing to be able to like rewind time, see what results are better, and choose which one you like better, but based only on short-term consequences. You don't know what the long-term consequences of the things are going to be, and you might regret them in the end. Which I guess is the problem the second one didn't really live up to, is because the superpower which it was evolved into didn't really tie in mechanically, I suppose, and narratively, I suppose, into the game as neatly as time travel did. which is, you know, difficult because there's not many powers which really would. I think the only other one I would think of would be mind reading, which is kind of the route I assume True Colours is going down. Not quite like mind reading per se, but it's they seem to be going down that sort of like you get extra information when having these conversations, and you can tell people's like true motivations and true emotions and that sort of thing, which could be useful, could be not, could be misleading, could be not, could be uncovering big things that you shouldn't, and all things sort of like that. But I guess it's just part of it is because time travel is a much more interesting topic to talk about in the first place. You know, you can do things about causality, like chaos theory, or the chaos. Isn't it chaos theory is not really actually to do with like time travel and deterministic things like that. Chaos theory is just like how very small changes in starting circumstances can lead to very wildly unpredictable results, like, you know, a triple pendulum, things like that. That's what I believe chaos theory is about, but I don't know, I didn't study it, so I can't say for certain. But yeah, things like the butterfly effect, I suppose, is probably a much more apt thing. And time travel has so many sort of like interesting sort of thematics which you can really explore and delve into, in moral quandaries, I suppose, which can really come up. Well, the second one, it was just like some telekinesis, which I suppose it's meant to be more focusing on the brother's relationship and, you know, trying to teach someone who has this great power to use it wisely, basically, and that sort of thing. But a lot of it just sort of fell flat with its very sort of bashing you over the head with these not moral quandaries, but more like moral teachings and that sort of thing. It's just a bit like, I get it, because like I know it's definitely that's a reality people face, but when you put it in, I suppose, in the form of media like this, it sort of becomes like a mockery of it, I suppose, in the sense of rather than being something which is exploring it, especially if it's not done particularly well. And that's sort of like what mine is for my variant. I think, you know, Life is Strange 2 kind of missed the mark in places, but I think I had a good concept. I just didn't have as good execution as the first one did, necessarily. But the third one, I think, it looks promising, because I think it's something which I can tie back into the mechanics, I suppose, of the actual narrative nature of a game, by having. Well, you basically need a superpower which influences social encounters, is, I suppose, how to phrase it in a very sort of tabletop role-playing sort of way, I guess. Because if you have something which you can do that's how you can influence people's choices when it comes to conversations, and it really allows you as a player to sort of control the narrative a little bit. Have fireworks started? No. Everyone's just looking upwards. But I believe that they say they were planning for like five installments or something in the Life is Strange series, and that sort of begs the question. Oh, I've never actually seen this cutscene. It's time to start looking up, Paul. The fireworks show has just begun. As it turns 7. Cool. Whee! How beautiful. But we still have a little bit of more missions to do, then we'll probably round off the episode while looking at the fireworks. Yeah. You're going to have to think of an ability which ties into these sort of social encounters, because if you don't, then how are you going to sort of get your players invested in it, and also have it nicely sort of tie in mechanically with the game? That's difficult. I think mind reading, in this case, I suppose emotions reading is a really good one. Time travel is probably the best one, I think. And I don't know what else would be a good one. I suppose you can have some sort of cloning duplication one. Or shapeshifting could be another one. You can shapeshift into different appearances and then talk to people and get information out of them that way. You know what? I'm betting that now. Life is Strange 4 is going to be about someone with power shapeshifting. What's it going to be called? Hold on. It's going to be called... It's going to be called... I don't know. It's a bit hard to think of something. It's obviously going to be based around different, I suppose, like adopting different identities and that sort of thing. Maybe it's just called Life is Strange Identity. No, that doesn't sound cool. Life is Strange. Life is Strange. I don't know. But I feel like you should be sitting the other way around. No, but what do I know? Who have we not spoken to in a while? Biscuit, maybe? Want to watch the fireworks? Any more Nook Mile missions we need to do? Now it's a good place to round off, I think. So yeah, what am I going to title this episode? I don't know, I talked about 2 different things, I suppose. Time traveling crosswords. Doesn't really make any sense. Phoebe over here is a lone wolf. Actually no, we'll do it in front of a crowd. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join the Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, you know what? Stay here. Bye bye for now.